Hello all, thank you for joining us today. This is Team 2's proposal, and we are proposing to implement in a pilot program for the engineering department at Wayne State University. The pilot program we are trying to introduce is a co-op program to allow students to get in the field experience. My name is Mitchell Redding, and I'm a junior at Wayne State. I do have a co-op position, but I did not get it through Wayne State. I got it by applying online at different job sites. My team members is Ian Sharp, Stephanie Statement, and Kelsey Conway. Some of their qualification is Ian and Stephanie are both sophomore mechanical engineers. They do not have any co-op position. Kelsey is a junior biochemistry major, and she does not have a co-op position either. They've been trying to apply online and go through Wayne State's Resource Center, but have not become successful yet. The purpose of our presentation today is talk a little more about what the pilot program is for the engineering department that we're trying to implement. What we're really trying to do is to have Wayne State Resource Center get more business contacts so it's easier for the engineering students to get co-op positions. Right now, they have a lot of resources to help us reach out to the company, but they don't really have anything to help us successfully get the position. Here is some background information for you guys. So, the first thing we will look at is the current program that Wayne State University offers to engineering students. What they do is they link you up with the Resource Center. The Resource Center does offer a lot that will be talked about later in the presentation. But what they mainly do is to help the engineering students and even alumni with preparing them for their career pathways. So meaning they're trying to prepare you the best they can with like workshops and building up your resume so you have the most success of trying to get an actual position. But the challenges of getting that position is that there's so much competition out there. The Resource Center brings in companies that they are partnered with or not even partnered with to recruit engineering students. The problem with this is those companies are usually bigger companies, and they go around to all the neighboring colleges and they want to pick the best they can. So if at another college one student has better experience in the field, then they're going to pick them over Wayne State. So the competition is very hard to get. The last challenge is trying to actually start your career right after graduation. Yes, you can go through all of college without a co-op position or intern position. But time you get to graduation, they're looking for a work experience. And if you don't have any, and the guy sitting next to you does, they're going to pick the guy next to you because they know that in-work experience is worth more than the books itself and your degree. So yes, all your classes do help you get the position of a co-op or even your career, but when you work in the field, it's a different type of education. Some of the solution for our proposal that we came up with is that we want if you get a co-op position, we want it credit to your degree. They claim that you can go and sign up for a class and write a paper and get some credit for your co-op position, but with my experience, I went to the Resource Center or the academic advisor and tried to get actual credit for my co-op position and said they said it doesn't work like that, and they wouldn't give me a straight answer of why it doesn't work like that. And then we want like maybe classes offered, meaning like the nursing have clinicals so they can look at different types of nursing jobs. We want some type of clinical type class that we can see the different type of engineering that you can do, because mechanical engineering or civil engineering and all the engineering are so broad that like you don't know what's really out there until you start really looking. Then we want to implement the pilot program. So our main goal with the pilot program is they take smaller steps and then eventually get into a big step and maybe even changing the program itself. So the first kind of step that we want them to take is to get a select number of students and a business contact and batch them together. So let's say 25 students, and then have them work only the full summer. So they take full-time semesters in the fall and winter, and then in the summer they work for this company, and they will be trained and be working in the field itself. And if this is successful, then we can open it up to more students. The forecast of our presentation today is the following. Ian is going to be talking about the co-op programs that are offered in other universities. So other universities have co-op programs that they follow, and there's only a select few of them, but they have more success than other universities. Stephanie is going to be doing the research that we all collected together, and she's going to go in more in depth of what we found. And then Kelsey's going to go over the conclusion and last remarks of our presentation. The Wayne State University Resource Center is very helpful. They offer many different types of programs that can help you in your career. So their first program that they offer is Handshake. Handshake is like the LinkedIn, but through Wayne State. Companies can join, students can join, and it's mostly only for engineering students. What it offers is internships, interview classes, and helps you in your career, show you events that are happening around the area. It's a very useful tool to help you prepare for interviews or your career itself. They also host 2 career fairs a year for engineering students. This allows you to meet companies face to face and show them that you're qualified for the position that they offer for you. They also offer network events, and this is helping you prepare your resume, prepare for interviews, get you ready for the best possible chance of getting a position. Then they also have on their website sites that you can find internship or co-op positions. Wayne State University Engineering Program already have some partnerships, as you can see below. What these partnerships, they can offer informational sessions, recruiting tables, and workshops. So all these are basically to brand their name out and try to get the best students that they can. They also come to the career fair to brand themselves to get more of the qualified students for their positions that they are looking for. But these partnerships are not only at Wayne State. They go all to all the local colleges like U of M Dearborn and U of M Ann Arbor and try to get the best students possible for their position. So this is there's a very competitive market for co-op positions because most students have to stay in the local area of Wayne State for their positions because they either live on Wayne State or live around Wayne State, so they can't move to a different state if they wanted to for just a co-op position. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be passing this on to Ian.
Thank you, Mitchell, for that introduction. Hi, I'm Ian Sharp. I am a current mechanical engineering student here at Wayne State University, and I'm here to explain my contribution to the project through my research. My research was done on how other colleges handled the cooperative programs and the real benefits that came with them. And what I had to do at the start is I had to find 4 different classifications in terms of how the engineering colleges were handling these co-ops. The first tier I made was like the pilot programs, the one that was newly implemented, and see what kind of benefits would come with it for the students in the college. And the second one was the newer colleges, the colleges with newer programs, but they weren't really that old. So you could still find statistics on them in terms of enrollment. And then the latter two, which is the mid-tier, like the 50-year-old co-op program, and the 100-year-old co-op program. Now, the universities that correlate to these, like I found that the University of Massachusetts implemented a co-op pilot program in 2008 to really cement some hardcore contracts with other companies and really nail them down for like private contracts, just students dealing with them and them only. And then the University of Toledo, that was the second tier. They're the ones that they implemented a mandatory co-op program in 1997. And it made it so in order to graduate with an engineering degree, you had to have a cooperative program. And Toledo enforced this by making it basically impossible to not get a co-op program unless you're really not trying. They have almost, it's kind of like a handshake program, but you have to do it in order to graduate. Now, the third tier one was Kettering University. They have the mandatory co-op program. The one that it follows Toledo's basis where you have to get it or you can't graduate. And I call them medium tier because they're around 50 or 60 years old. So they've really cemented themselves in with the co-op program, but they're not as old as the fourth one, which is the University of Cincinnati. They're by far the biggest cooperative program in the country, and that's merely by the fact that they've had over 100 years to make those connections with other businesses to find students ways to learn in the field as well as the classroom. And I also found a few statistics that are quite interesting in terms of how cooperative programs helped the colleges. And here's how they benefited the colleges. There was a large rise in student enrollment for the first two. Because the first two I could find student enrollment records because they didn't go back that far in terms of when they implemented the co-op programs. So the University of Toledo, it had a large rise in student enrollment. It almost doubled over the span of around 10 years in terms of people going into the engineering major. And around the same thing happened with University of Massachusetts. It actually over doubled. It's over double the original standard, and that happened in less than 10 years. So the implementing of these co-op programs really shows that people will enroll in your college as soon as you get it because they want those opportunities in the field to learn as well as in the classroom and get credit for it, as well as being paid if it is a paid internship or co-op. And I got both of the statistics for both of these colleges through their enrollment numbers. So the benefits of the program, another benefit with these co-op programs were engineering colleges, they usually rank higher if they have the mandatory co-op programs. Like as you can see, University of Toledo, it's not really known to be an engineering college, but it's still ranked 7th in its state because the co-op program just draws in so many students into the major. So in terms of engineering ranking, they rank 7th in the state. So, and the same goes for Cincinnati. Their program really makes it so they are one of the best. We'll compare them to Dayton, Wright State University. Well, Wright State University may really have more cited papers, but University of Cincinnati and Toledo have more in the field experience for engineers going there. Now, the University of Massachusetts, they hold 8th place, which seems like a low ranking, but really that's actually high because it's in the same state as Harvard and MIT, the really high-class colleges that are known for drawing in the best of the best students. It still holds a rank of 8th, which really means something. It's largely coming from the co-op program, bringing in a lot of students. And the last one is Kettering University. It's ranked 3rd in Michigan, and it goes along with, it's fighting against U of M, University of Michigan. And the reason University of Michigan really beats it. It was more of a diplomatic ordeal. It was over the aerospace ranking, like because the aerospace engineering was a little bit better at U of M. It was ranked higher than Kettering. And that is the explanation of all of my results and research. And I'm handing this over to Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Ian, for explaining to our audience how implementing such a program at Wayne State University in the engineering department would not only extremely benefit the students participating, the department, and school as a whole, but also the companies that would be participating in this program. And also, thank you for showing examples of different successes at universities across the United States. Now, as you may or may not know by now, my name is Stephanie Stamante. I'm soon to be a junior in the mechanical engineering department at Wayne State University. And I'll be talking to you today about the research process that took place throughout this project, the different types of research that we chose to do, as well as why we chose to do the things that we did. Now, to start off, around the beginning of our project, although we did know a bit about the topic since the majority of us are engineering students, we did know that we had to further familiarize ourselves with this topic, which is why we turned to online research, which is where we started doing general research like why this is important to have at schools, as well as for students to have on their resumes when applying for jobs in the future. We did research like how it's proven to be successful at other schools. We've done research like why it's beneficial for students, for the schools, as well as companies. We've done research, just a lot of general research around this topic. And then what we then decided to do to take a step further for our project is we started to research how we would implement this at Wayne State University, which is when we started finding out who we should talk to, why we should talk to them, who would be the people that would be making these kinds of decisions at Wayne State in the engineering department or in the school in general. We also started contacting various companies throughout Detroit and across the area near Wayne State universities that we thought may or may not be interested in taking part in such a program. And then a couple weeks ago, after meeting with our professor, we were suggested to narrow down our project, which is when we decided to do a pilot program at Wayne State University, which is then we started doing more research on how a pilot program would be implemented, how it would help the students, how it would help the school, companies see what it would be like to have an actual program implemented in the engineering department for the students. What we then did, which Ian discussed earlier, which is how this has been done at other schools, how it's proven to be successful, etc. We were also suggested at this meeting with our professor to do different kinds of research, which is when we decided to narrow it down for Wayne State University. The other kinds of research we did was at other schools, different successful programs at other schools. What we did now, at this point in this project, was talk to people on campus, talk to professors, talk to people in the resource center, talk to people that would be relevant and affected by this decision. A survey was made, which looks like this. It starts off by asking general questions like what year the student or whoever is completing this is in, the kind of engineering program that they're in, mechanical, civil, chemical, etc. How satisfied they are with the resource center up until this point. This went from extremely unsatisfied to extremely satisfied. We also had questions like how often the resource center is being used by the engineering students, if they've currently taken part in any co-op or internship program, if they answered no to this, if they would be interested in doing so. how they found this co-op program, and if they think this co-op program, this pilot program, should be implemented at Wayne State University. Unfortunately, we don't have enough results yet to come with a complete conclusion, which will be discussed further and in more detail in our paper. Although I can say that the results so far are quite interesting, and I think it's quite interesting to see what the students feel on campus. And no further ado, I'd like to pass this on to Kelsey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that recap on how we did our research. My name is Kelsey Conway, and I am a biochemistry major here at Wayne State University. Today I'm going to be discussing our results of the research, and then I'm going to be discussing the plan that our group came up with that we believe the College of Engineering could follow in order to eventually implement a co-op program. I will also be giving one final summary of the whole presentation to really try and drive our main point home. The first result I'm going to talk about is what Ian showed us earlier. He showed how making a co-op experience a mandatory part of the curriculum really increased the enrollment rate. More students enrolling would help cover any costs that would come with implementing a new program. On the right side of the screen, I have the current number of students enrolled in the College of Engineering. If the university were to make a co-op program mandatory, that number would definitely increase. The next thing we found out is who we need to talk to in order to propose our idea. We decided we would first need to contact the Resource Center. They would be the ones helping the students make contact with the companies. They would also be the ones who need to communicate with the Department of Engineering to deal with any classes or credit changes. The board would be the one to make the final decision on whether a co-op program becomes part of the curriculum or not, but we would first just need to give a proposal to the Resource Center. The next thing we found was that companies were not very willing to discuss these kinds of matters with us. The responses we would get were the standard HR, like automatic responses, and then no real answers to the questions that we would ask. So we think that the actual university would need to make an offer and contact the companies because we weren't very successful in looking for willing companies. Lastly, the survey results that Stephanie mentioned, we're still getting some responses back, and we'll discuss them further in our paper. So now I'm going to be discussing the plan that we came up with. We feel that this pilot program is something that could be implemented within a couple of years. We would want and expect the university to start with small changes and eventually lead to the pilot program. First, we think that allowing any on-the-job training to count for credit would encourage students to participate. They would have time allowed with their coursework to focus on hands-on experience that would greatly benefit them. The second thing they need to do is look into companies and make the contacts with them. While our group didn't have much luck contacting them, we believe that since Wayne State has such an excellent engineering program, companies would be very willing to accept the students for co-op positions within their company. Mitchell mentioned earlier the idea of rotation courses where engineering students learn about all the different types of jobs within their field. We feel that this would be a great way for students to learn about all the different companies in Metro Detroit and for the companies to see the types of students that go to Wayne State. We feel that this would be an easy way to start the company contacts and build a great relationship with them. Finally, we would like for Wayne State to eventually make contracts with these companies, where the companies would take a certain amount of students each year and offer them co-op positions. We want Wayne State to make this hands-on experience a requirement because in the long run it's going to benefit the students. Okay, so in conclusion, Wayne State College of Engineering Resource Center is a great tool to help students make contacts and gain information about different companies, but it does not filter enough positions for every engineering student at Wayne State. We want to make it so that every student that graduates Wayne with a degree in any kind of engineering is required to have some type of hands-on experience. Wayne State will also be able to ensure that this happens because we want them to make a co-op program where they have a direct contact with companies in Detroit who will offer co-op positions to students here. There's proof that making a co-op program mandatory increases enrollment rate. The increased enrollment could help cover any cost that a program like this would create. Through Stephanie's survey and even reflected in what Ian showed, we can tell that students want the experience. They want to graduate with hands-on training, and companies are more willing to hire someone with that kind of training. The last thing I want to mention is that we know this plan cannot be completed overnight. We were kind of thinking anywhere from 2 to 5 years before the start of the pilot program, with the co-ops could be launched, just because there are so many layers to this idea. But even though it would be hard to iron out the details, we feel that it is super important for the university to offer this kind of experience, just because it is so important to have experience as an engineer. So here are the list of references for all the information that we provided in this presentation. But other than that, that is all for Group 2's presentation. Again, I am Kelsey Conway, and on behalf of all of Group 2, I want to say thank you for joining us and listening to our proposal. I hope that you can see what we want to happen and why we feel that it is so important that it does. Thank you so much for your time, and please let us know if you have any ideas that would make implementing this program into the current curriculum easier. Thank you so much.